Hello, hero collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today we're going to be taking a look at these two Spider-Man villains, Hallow's Eve and Jack-O-Lantern. They were a part of the 2024 Spider-Man retro carded wave. I got them really late in the year. Hallow's Eve was a Secret Santa gift, and the Jack-O-Lantern figure I got before the end of the year because I really wanted to end the year by getting all the figures that I felt I was missing out on before we went into 2025. But I have both of them here. We're going to take a closer look, and we will start with Hallow's Eve. All right, taking a closer look at Hallow's Eve here, you can see that her three primary colors are black, orange, and purple, of course. But then you also have the splash of white, red, and yellow for the head sculpt. And if you are curious, you can pop this head off and actually remove it from the hood. It does take some doing. I think, yeah. There. And nope, not quite. Come on. There. Yes, you can remove it, and you can see the hair sculpt right there. It is very flat, just so that the head can fit into the hood and sit properly when you have it on the body. Ugh. You can see that pops on. She is on the Shriek body mold, so it is very standard female articulation, but she does have the double jointed pinless elbows and pinless knees, as you can see down there. She has this scarf piece, which is not really attached to anything. It's just kind of a free floating piece. It does have some deco for the pumpkins on her, kind of, what would that be, lapel? I don't exactly know. I have found if you tuck it underneath the strap of the bag, it stays in place better, but because it is free floating, it will want to kind of fall off occasionally. In this bag, we have seen before with many other figures, Green Goblins, Mary Janes, and then you see some purple paint, I think for like to simulate a harness, goes onto the back and just kind of loops around the body. She's got some little speckling throughout the black and orange bits. I think it's basically just to stimulate tears, I want to say, but I can't remember exactly what it is in the books. I have read some of the comics with her in them. I did read all of Dark Web and kind of the lead up to it, and she's popped up in a few other books that I have read. So it's a cool figure, cool character. I think they executed the look really well. Because I never really did an unboxing of this figure, let's bring in a quick comparison. You can see her next to Chasm, who is her boyfriend, her husband. I don't know exactly what they are, but I know they are together. And you can just kind of see there is the height difference there. I did take some photos with these two together, and I do like the dynamic that they have. But to now talk about her accessories, as you can see, she comes with a pair of wide open, kind of expressive hands. But she also comes with a pair of fists and a pair of grip hands. And the grip hands are for her mask accessories, which, if you didn't know her power, she has a bunch of different masks in her bag, and when she puts them on, she gets the powers of whatever the mask is that she puts on. So if she puts on this Dracula mask, she gets the powers of a vampire. She puts on this kind of devil demon mask, I'm assuming she can do some magic and maybe do fire. I don't know. I haven't actually seen this one in action, but it's simple. You can just put it into her grip hand or kind of rest it in one of the expressive hands. But if you want, I think you can kind of tuck the mask underneath the hood and kind of equip it like that. Usually when she puts the mask on, it kind of transforms her whole look. So it would change, it would go onto her, then magic would appear, and she would like look differently, especially in the face. So it just wouldn't be the plain mask. So it's kind of cool. I do appreciate that they included those masks to add to the value of the figure, but they don't really show off what her power set is, even though they are included in what she can do. But now let's get into the articulation of the figure. The head can look down that far, can look up pretty far because it is on a ball and hinge, but you do run into the hood kind of moving on the head sculpt. She can look left and right, not a lot of wobblage. Arms can go up that high and down. Full 360. Watch the scarves. They're a little finicky there. Bicep rotation, double jointed elbows, pinless. All the hands hinge up and down. Torso can crunch forward, not very much, as you can see, and back quite a bit, which is kind of nice. And of course she can get rotation going that way and some kind of pivot off to the side with that. Her legs can go out this far. She can kick up that far, a little bit of back. She has a thigh cut, double jointed knees, and yep, she can kick her own butt. No calf rotation, but the ankles do go down. They go up a little bit, and she does have some ankle pivot. So, what are my final thoughts on Hallow's Eve? So Hallow's Eve is a fun little figure with some great range. I do like the look of her. It's very striking to have the orange and the black kind of contrast each other. I like the accessories. She has plenty of hands, and the bag that she has creates a nice kind of like dynamic to where you can have it look like she's pulling a mask out of the bag. The masks are fun inclusions, but the problem with a character like this is you can't really display her powers without giving us a boatload of accessories. So I think that's my biggest complaint with this figure, is that she doesn't have accessories to really show her powers, even though she does come with the masks. Like, I think one thing that would have been really cool is to include a Captain America mask and then give her a shield that kind of had the logo of her character printed on it. That was something that happened in one of her books, I know. So when her powers are activated, it changes her whole visage. So to really show off what she can do, it would have changed the figure a lot. And so I do appreciate them giving us just the plain costume look with no powers activated. So really, I'm not all that upset by not being able to display her powers. It's just, it's harder to display them, or like to show them in action without being able to change up the figure, if that makes any sense. Now, does she have the fun factor? I think so. She has enough articulation and she looks good. And I do like the action you can do with the masks, and pairing her up with a few other characters. She did kind of come to life for me, and I did have fun with the figure, and more fun than I was expecting to before sitting down to actually pose her up. So what is my final rating for Hallow's Eve? I'm going to go 8 out of 10. It's a lot better than I was expecting before getting her in hand. And my only real complaint about the figure is the fact that I can't really display her powers in action. But that's not a fault of this figure on its own. It's more the concept of the character's powers. So still a fun figure, and I'm very glad to have her, and thank you to my Secret Santa who did get her for me. Alright, now moving on to Jack-O-Lantern. As you can see, his primary colors are green, dark green, and orange, and a little bit of yellow thrown in. But you can start up here with the big old pumpkin head. He's got some yellow plastic underneath this orange that has, I don't know if it'd be a dry brush, a wash, I'm not exactly sure. But there is a darker orange in the grooves of the orange plastic. You have the pumpkin stem painted with a nice translucent orange throughout the back of the head. You can see a little gappage. I'll get into that in articulation. He's got the little scarf that's textured. He's got scale mail on his torso. And then he's got some nice green limbs. I think these are reused from Vulcan, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think the boots are reused as well. The gloves and the torso and, of course, the head, I think, are all brand new, along with the belt. But yeah, not a lot of paint work, just mostly on the head. Everything else, I think, is the molded plastic. You can see the little bombs he has on his belt there. And again, because I did not do an unboxing of this guy, to bring in another comparison, we have the first Jack-O-Lantern that we got. I want to say this is the Absorbing Man wave. I could be very wrong on that. But this is not the same character. I think it's the same title, but not the same characters. This is one that fought Spider-Man. I think this one fought Venom more. So they have two different uses in my collection. This one is actually on a really old, outdated, gangly body. I hope it does get redone at some point. And between the two pumpkin heads, I think the new one is better. I do like how this one is painted, though. Not that it's bad at all, but I think this is the better, more menacing one. To get into Jack-O-Lantern's accessories, you can see he comes with a set of fists, and one accessory that has been here the whole time is a removable little pumpkin bomb that just attaches to the peg on his belt. And I didn't really actually test if any effects could plug into that port when I took pictures, but it's something you can maybe try. I could see some Iron Man blast effects maybe porting in there, but I'm very tempted now to go and do that. But Aside from that, we also have a grip hand to hold the pumpkin bomb and a wide open expressive hand to either like hold the glider that he has. Yes, he does come with a glider. I'll get to that in a second. Or to like simulate he's about to throw something or something like that. It's just an expressive hand. You can rest this pumpkin bomb in the hand, but it's not one that actually grips it securely. But of course, I did mention a glider, so let's move him to the side. And you can see this glider here. It is all molded in a gold plastic. It does have the marbleization that some people like, some people don't. I don't mind it one bit. You can see the kind of detail underneath. Maybe that's how he propels himself. I don't know. This little rounded bit can unplug because it has a port to actually put a stand into. Now, he didn't actually come with a stand. I had to steal it from a Hawkeye Sky Cycle. But I know it also came with the, Demo Goblin glider, and I think it was a Black Series stand before that. So if you have any extras of these, you can use it for Jack-O-Lantern, of course. I actually used it a couple times when taking photos, but then, of course, if you don't want to use it, you can just put that back in, and it's a top, like a Beyblade or something. I don't know. With the accessories out of the way, let's go over articulation. The head is on a double ball peg, something like that, and it can go down that far, look up a little bit, actually a decent amount. You can do a little bit of wobblage and turn 360. Now, if you want to, you can remove this little scarf piece and put the head back on, and you can get way more movement. Oops. You can look down that far. You can look up quite a bit, but of course you will have that gappage, so you'll need to make sure that if, like, say you're taking a photo, make it like be from like this angle or something, and he can do a lot more head tilt, but that is up to you. We got a butterfly joint here in the torso. And go forward and back. Shoulders can go up about that high. You can do full 360 bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows that are pinless. Of course, this is the Vulcan mold. You got all the hands hinge up and down. He's got back on the torso about that much, and forward quite a bit, which is pretty good. And then he does have a waist swivel, and hips go out that far. You can kick forward and back, not really. Thigh cut, a double jointed pinless knee, can kick his own batuti. And then he's got boot swivel, and then foot can go up a lot, can go back quite a bit. And then when you get it reset, you can ankle pivot all day long. So, all that out of the way, what are my final thoughts on Jack-O-Lantern? So Jack-O-Lantern was a figure that I knew I wanted to get and would enjoy just simply because of how cool he looks and the body. I knew that articulation was very satisfying for a figure like this. I don't know why I waited so long, but I am glad I finally did get him. It is a very satisfying figure to pose up and look menacing, and I had him posed with my Spider-Man figure, and it just works so well. They really complemented each other, and I had a lot of fun with him. So, little spoilers for upcoming segment. In terms of bad, I don't really have much to say other than maybe give him a grip hand for the left side and include the flight stand. I know this came on a retro card, but when you give a character a glider like that and you don't include the stand, I have to find a stand somewhere else. And currently I don't have all my goblins on their gliders on a stand, so it makes it a little difficult to display all their powers. And someone like this, who actually has their glider geared towards a flight stand, should have included one. So I do think that is a bummer. Otherwise, I have no real issues. You know, he was a very satisfying figure to pose and really is executed pretty well. So yeah, I did spoil it a little bit. Fun factor is an absolute yes. He was a lot of fun to pose. I had a blast, especially when I pulled out the Spider-Man figure. Even before then, just posing him on his own, trying to get some menacing shots, it was pretty fun. So what's my final rating of this figure? I'm going to give it an 8.5. It is a very good Jack-O-Lantern figure with some great articulation, some great accessories. My complaints that I have are minimal compared to what we do get. my biggest thing is the flight stand. He really should have come with that. He didn't. I think that is a misstep. Otherwise, the figure on its own is fantastic. All right, that was my review of the Marvel Legends Hallows Eve and Jack-O-Lantern from the 2024 Spider-Man Retro Carded Wave. Let me know what you think of the figures down below. Also, let me know what you thought of the review. While you're down there, make sure you leave a like and make sure you are subscribed because these are the last two figures I needed in the wave. So that means I'm going to do a wave ranking very soon. But with all that out of the way, I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.